Our treatment today is on our proposed film, A Blank Canvas. A synopsis: it's a medical experiment on an unwilling test subject with a crazed doctor based in an undisclosed location.
Okay, so this is our opening sequence. It begins with a shot of from a CCTV camera in black and white. There's some sort of medical room with a bed to one side, and on the bed there's a body, sort of gealed, and he's covered in bandages with coloured dye covering a part of the body, which are led to assume is blood. We change the shot from here. We track across the bedroom, focusing onto a small table at one side in several points of the shot. We jump to a shot looking at the door where a man with a mask and a white coat, sort of doctor's uniform, enters. We then switch shots to follow the doctor as he sort of leads over to the table where the man is laying on. We then track over the body with his figure from the waist up. Finally, the camera moves along an arm dangling from the bed over the side where we see blood dripping from the hand. On this title sequence starts with red colours blossoming with the titles in front of it. The sequence won't have any music playing over the top until the start of the title sequence, and it will be filmed in complete continuity editing, keeping the shots moving together so that it flows from shot to shot.
Audience research. Our audience research has shown that a thriller, horror, action, adventure movie would be the most common. We're focusing mainly on horror and thriller, these being, from our audience research, the largest two favourite film percentage-wise. Our target audience is 15 to 65-year-olds, and we want to take a look at all social classes in the country. After asking our audience for more information, they said that they were looking for a medical-like thriller. They feel that they haven't really made a big one of these, and they were looking for films similar to Dr. Jenkins and also Frankenstein, more the novel side of things rather than the films. Potential audience members said they did not think a romance in the film would be appropriate, and that we should limit the number of characters in the film, which we feel that we will have done by the time we filmed it. This is to reduce complication of the film and really to focus on the plot and the storyline. Also, after listening to our analysis research has shown that we plan to make a film with a simple yet thrilling plot, going back in with the character, which is easy to understand. As we have found this to be one of the major problems of watching thrillers. Complicated plot makes it an unpleasant experience to watch the film. We also want to use all the other research that we have gathered over the past few weeks and incorporate some of the ideas such as not jumping from shot to shot, instead keeping a good sense of continuity editing, allowing the story to flow and feel much creepier. We hope that we will be able to follow the research we have gathered and we'll be able to create a film which going back to the original idea of a thriller movie, going back to basics with it, not overcomplicating it.
After listening to all the research, we will try and take our film back to when thriller movies were extremely popular. We will try and create a mystery, dark action thriller, going back to its core roots as a genre and sub-genre. We hope that the film will therefore appeal to audiences over 15. We have listened particularly to women's views on how we could interest them. They were very concerned with the confusing story and gruesome fighting that takes place in some action thrillers. We will therefore try and reduce this in our film. We have gathered our ideas from films such as Sixth Sense, which we hope will influence our film's process.
Location. We're planning on filming our piece in the school medical centre. We have chosen this location because it already has the atmosphere that we're trying to create for our film when we look at the medical side of things, but also the buildings at such an age that it helps create a mysterious atmosphere which will help us build our thriller. Any questions?
In terms of the look of the film, are you going for any particular colours? Obviously, you've talked about the red and the blood there, but
we want it to be quite stark contrast in colours, so that we want it to be the red to be obvious, the blood to really stand out. Meanwhile, the whites of the bandages to be very subtle, the hospital room. So it will be filmed. It won't be filmed in sepia or black or white or anything. It will use colour, but we'll try and contrast the colour.
We don't want to overcomplicate the colours. We want to keep everything simple.
Very simple.
From plot to sort of filmmaking and editing, we want to keep. We don't want to add lots of colour, lots of different contrasts. We want few contrasts but really focus upon the key points of the plot.
Okay. You also mentioned in your audience, your target audience from 15 to 65. That's a pretty broad spread. Are you convinced that an older audience will want to see a film where somebody is having horrible experiments conducted upon them?
From our market research, we've taken a broad opinion from people actually across the age groups and roughly 13 up to 80. It isn't as popular with the elder generations, the elder people, but they're still very interested in the thriller genre. A lot of them were brought up on the thriller genre being the main movie genre at the time, also horror playing an important part when they were growing up. So they hopefully take them back to their origins of what they like in cinema and theatres.
I found a subtle thriller, sort of without lots of shock and surprises, in terms of jump scares and things like that, was popular across all age ranges rather than just like teens liking shock horrors. It's a genre that many people can get into and enjoy as a movie.
Okay, excellent.